Hello and welcome to the Dinosaw for week 47. Another 7 curious, interesting things I saw last week. So let's crack on. The first one is Google's DreamFusion. Now this is, as the title says, text to 3D. Very similar to something like DALL-E or actually Google's own Imagen, where you type in words and it will generate the thing. Doesn't matter, as it seems, how weird the thing is. It might be a tiger on a motorcycle wearing sunglasses, for instance, or whatever you want to say. It will then generate not only a cool 3D thing and a turnaround, it's actually generating the 3D model itself, and you can download those and use them for what you will. So it's now available. Now, what is the use of this? Clearly it's useful for things like 3D models, but also you can imagine this is creating the items within virtual experiences, or as we whisper very quietly, the metaverse, should that ever exist. So also you can imagine things like Google Street. If you need 3D objects to be explorable, then it can generate those. As long as you can describe them, it will make them. There you go. Mashups, love map mashups, it's hard to say. These are all the rage about 10 years ago. Seeing a load of these recently, I just love them, so I thought I'd feature one as well. So this is actually from the National Library of Scotland, and it's like, as I say, it's a Swiss Army knife of map mashups. It allows you to do things like this kind of spy hole mode where you can use old OS maps, and I think they've got 2 of them. I think they've got one from the late 1800s, and I think they've also got one from the mid 1900s as well. So if you're interested to see what was around your house 50 years ago or 100 years ago, then you can have a look at it. It does a side-by-side mode. It allows you to do overlays and street maps and all that sort of good stuff. Also allows you to try and or locate the actual OS map of your area. So if you're struggling for Christmas presents, then that might be something you might want to order as well. But I think that's really neat. If you're not absolutely marveled by this and exactly what you want to look around your house for, then I can't help you, but it is awesome. Please go and have a look at it. This is the Ethereum Climate Pledge, ECP. This actually came out of COP27, or at least was announced at COP27, and this is actually to mitigate the CO2 generated by Ethereum since its launch in 2015. So recently, if you haven't been following Ethereum, they had the merge. Now the merge is where they moved from proof of work, which used a lot of energy and a lot of gnarly stuff that had to go on, and all that sort of carbon output, and they've now moved to proof of stake, which is 99.992% more efficient by recent calculations. So basically, the future is relatively good. However, there's this debt of carbon that they're trying to clear up. So you've got the likes of Microsoft and Aave and Polygon and others who have signed up to be the founding partners of this, who have then said like they're going to actually all put money in, put investment into this to do things like real stuff in the real world with plants and trees and things, but not white or greenwashing with carbon offsets and things like that. But they're also going to look at technologies and investment in areas like that as well. So that's kind of interesting about sort of wiping up the history of a cryptocurrency, or at least a blockchain platform. SuperGPS, this has come out of the Netherlands, and this is actually looking at how do you make a GPS basically usable in urban environments, but also more accurate. So if you don't know how GPS works, very quickly it uses satellites in the sky. You kind of need 3, or actually technically 4, and they're pinging down very accurate time pulses, and your device just listens to the time pulses and triangulates your position. So it doesn't really work particularly well in built-up areas. It actually can be quite weak. And also it's not particularly accurate as well. So it's accurate to meters rather than centimeters. So this new version uses already existing radio signals around cityscapes, and as long as you hook them up to an atomic clock, which is super accurate, they're all pinging out the same atomic clock signal and they're all synced together, then they work exactly like GPS but on an urban environment. So it will work indoors, for instance, and it'll also track you to 10 centimeters accuracy. So that should be quite cool, coming to a town near you. This is Niantic, who have really just sort of shown how collaboration and what the future of augmented experience is, but also platform development is going to be as well. So as you see, this is their sort of fledgling renders of their headset at the top. Who knows? It might actually be what it might be. But this is actually powered by Qualcomm's Snapdragon chip. Now, the partnership they've actually said is really that it's compatible. So Niantic will allow you to use, or you can use, their Lightship platform, which is a sort of a visual positioning thing if you're doing augmented experiences. And actually, Snapdragon have their Spaces XR platform as well for developing these experiences as well. So they're just saying, look, we're all working together. Let's make the future easy and collaborative when it comes to AR as well. So that's what's going on there. But if you want to see some more AR glasses, that's what Niantic's look like. This is in meat news, or shall I say artificial meat news. This is lab-grown meat, and the FDA, or the Food and Drugs Administration in the US, have actually gone, one of the steps towards it eventually being on sale in the US. So they've actually said it is safe to eat. They haven't actually said it's safe to be sold yet. There's a lot of stuff that needs to go on there, but it's at least a big step. So it's not actually legal in, say, the UK or in the US to actually sell artificially, or should we say, lab cultured meat. Now, I should probably just go one step back. What is this? So this is, if you take some cells like from a chicken or something like that, and you culture them in the lab, you grow them and they multiply. You grow them on a substrate or within a form, and therefore it can look like a chicken nugget or whatever you want to, but it's actually got the same sort of cell structure, and it tastes like chicken, looks like chicken, kind of is chicken, but it was cruelty free because it didn't actually use a chicken, and therefore it saves all the world's water and all those sorts of things as well. So this is a good thing. It is actually available in Singapore. I think that's the only place in the world where you can actually eat these and buy these. So there are lots of companies that do this. This was actually Upside Foods. But there are many, many, many on this bandwagon at the moment, waiting for the FDA to start to approve this. So this is a really big step that they've actually said, yeah, it's legal, it's safe, and we're moving forwards. And finally, in super yacht news, this is, like the world doesn't need any super yachts at the moment, but this is Pangeos, which obviously playing on the Pangaea, which was the kind of the universal continent that used to exist before all the tectonic plates split up. However, this is actually a concept at the moment. Apparently, it will take $8 billion to build, and something like 8 years to build, or something like that. But this is an idea for basically a city afloat. So if you're looking at things like rising sea levels, then this might be for you. Again, out of the COP27, I think it was Tavula had said that they might actually have to exist in the metaverse because of rising sea levels, and therefore they're going to scan their atoll in the ocean, and then have it as a historic artifact in the metaverse. And this is kind of playing to that as well. So huge cities. Now this actually is super slow. It is 5 knots, so about 5 miles an hour, about sort of 9 kilometers an hour. So it's really, really slow. But there you go. If you're into wacky super yachts, then this is currently where we're at. There you go. Hopefully that was interesting. Hopefully it was useful. If it was, give it a like, share it with somebody amazing, and I will see you next week.